from Nigeria's commercial capital. It's Moments Girls Talk. Tonight, we look at some extreme expressions of mental health in the entertainment industry. Our guests are former beauty queen Karen Young and entrepreneur Shade Ladipo. Karen shares her emotional story.
I used the razor. I slit my wrist.
You slit your wrist?
Yes, I bled and I passed out, and my neighbor's driver found me and took me to the hospital. It took several tries because all the hospitals rejected me.
And Shade shares a shocking celebrity secret.
I broke up with my boyfriend because of T1, T-bills.
Whoa, why? Why? Depression, it's like, it's very severe, it's very debilitating. It saps away your hope, your will to live. It takes everything from you.
Celebrities and depression is our topic tonight, and it starts now.
Welcome back to Moments Girls Talk. The table is full. It's a table of ladies, and I guess this is a very good thing because we're talking about depression. And I'm not saying men do not get depressed, but I think that women have the tendency to speak more when it comes to topics like this. So let's talk about celebrities and depression first to start with, because I mean, home and abroad, we've heard famous people pop themselves. When I say literally kill themselves, and it took us a while to realize that that person was battling depression. The only person that comes to my mind now is Robbie Williams as well. Yeah, because he was suffering from depression and he killed himself eventually. Do you think that being in the public eye puts on so much pressure on people, and I mean, everyone has demons they're fighting. Let's not even try and style it out. Famous or not famous, everyone has demons that they're fighting. Do you think that being in the eye of the public makes it even more intensified?
I think so. I think so, because you have to keep up with the act. Like, people are watching you. You have to present a facade. You can't let them know what's going on. So you're battling your disease and you're battling to keep up with your image. So it makes it really tough. What
do you think, Shadi?
I mean, obviously, it's like she said, if there is a bit of privacy, sometimes it's easier to even handle. When you have to always keep a front, it's difficult, especially because, again, as celebrities tend to get isolated very fast, you know, from real people, not the people who are just following you around for the fame. So because of that, there's actually no one they can actually talk to, and that's one of the biggest things that can kill people in depression, when there's no one to understand and, you know, see them through that process.
Well,
definitely.
I know you've been through it. Are people, I mean, I'm just asking this question, are people born with depression, or is it something that just happens to?
I don't think it's something that's hereditary, is it?
Sometimes it's genetic.
Is it?
Yeah. I did my research.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think we have to establish the fact that depression is a medical, clinical disease. It's not a state of mind where you're just really, really sad. I mean, I've been sad, but I've never been depressed to the point where I feel like I can't get up or I can't stand up in the morning. But going back to your point, talking about being in the eye, I think the public eye, I think that when you think about a lot of people who've killed themselves, specifically, you know, or committed suicide in America, you find that, I don't know if it's particularly because they're in the public eye or if it's because they're
fading away.
It's almost like, you know, in life sometimes, right? When you're seeking to do something and you believe that thing will make you happy. So a lot of these people who are in the public eye, they're doing what they love. And imagine having what makes you happy, but you're still deeply sad. It's almost like you've climbed the mountain, you're at the summit, and you thought the sun was going to be there, and there's no sun. It's a scary feeling.
The problem with that, from what you've said, is if you place your happiness in the hands of another person, a material thing. In this case, your career.
Don't we do that a lot?
We do. People do.
What I learned,
whether you're a celebrity or not.
What I learned was, what helped me in my healing was that I am responsible for my own happiness.
You are
I cannot base my happiness on another person
or situation or material thing.
I think one of the reasons why it's very difficult for celebrities again is because, you know, there's so much. Most of them are really busy. Like a Robin Williams, he was really getting roles. He was acting. Because of that, there's hardly time for you to focus on dealing with the disease. So you're working so hard because you're out there and you can't even move much. And then the little time you have to even focus on your disease, you're probably just trying to rest. Because addressing depression is not just, oh, let me just go and rest. That's not how you address depression. You actually have to go through therapy. It's a process, a long process.
Yes.
So it means that as a celebrity, you would have to drop your life and focus on dealing with that.
Well, make time. I think it's a case of making. I don't know about dropping your life. I think for people, it's that you have to make time. So in the same way that you would make time to schedule a doctor's appointment.
No, it's not.
Hold on a second. Just hear me out. Hear me out. You have to schedule time to spend with your family. You have to schedule time to take, because we're talking about American celebrities specifically, schedule time to take your dog to go and be groomed, schedule time to go to your therapist. I know a lot of people in the US and the UK who go to their therapist on a regular basis.
The thing is, when you have clinical depression,
I'm talking about people that are clinically depressed.
What I'm saying is, you have to, as a celebrity, you can't go to your therapist and then go back to your life like, oh my God. Do you understand? You have to drop everything.
Hold on a second. There are, aside from Robin Williams, who we know killed himself, there are other celebrities who have talked about the fact that they've battled with some sort of
bipolar. In that time, if you remember, in that time, just to back what they're saying, they were not in our eyes. Like when you hear, there's a time that you not hear from them for like two years or 3 years.
I've been away for 2 years.
No, true.
I haven't made any public appearance.
No, but there are some people that deal with it, and it depends. I also think it depends on how severe your depression is.
The healing process.
Not everybody that suffers from depression is suicidal. I know people that are bipolar. They're on medication, and they're celebrities in the countries that they're in, and they make the time. They do their jobs.
If there's also family around you, it helps to make the process.
The person that I'm talking about doesn't have any family around her.
Okay, so let's speak on what she just said now, meaning isolation is the enemy. And I do get your points, Bishop, but I think at that stage of you scheduling every week, I meet with my therapist is at your healing process. Initially, most of these guys we hear about, they are away for a while. You just have been dealing with this. I wasn't getting roles.
First, you have to fight the demon yourself.
This isolation thing, it brings me back to us being African, and it's nice and Danny were talking about it, but there's a mother at home who's saying, you see someone struggling, and the first instinct is, even if your mom wants to believe that it's clinically, infused, a neighbor is telling her, I have one church, one pastor, take the number. Like, how do we break that circle?
I think Nigerian families have to educate themselves about this disease. Like, you need to understand that this is something clinical. It's not just being sad. You have to research. Go on Google. It's free. Go on Google and do your research. Find out how this disease works.
And I think also we need to educate ourselves. Not all diseases must be physical. Not all diseases must have a wound. Some diseases are mental.
The mind,
and mental diseases are even worse than physical diseases.
Doesn't mean you're crazy.
No, it doesn't.
Don't get me wrong. Most people start saying, does that mean she's run mad? No, it doesn't mean you're crazy. It just means that you're going through some things that your psyche it's finding difficult to handle.
I think one of the problems that we have as Africans, not just Nigerians, is the fact that, like Toke said, you go to your pastor. Whether it's depression, whatever it is, church is going to fix it. And I'm sorry to say this, but viewers and Africans, especially in Nigeria, we have to realize that not everything is going to be fixed by going to church. There's some things that can be fixed by going to church, but if somebody is clinically depressed, there is no demon that is worrying the person unless they are possessed. It is a clinical issue, and it needs either medication, counseling, or therapy. I just wanted to mention something.
You have to go, Michelle. You just hold on to that, Michelle. This conversation continues after this.
For you to be severely clinically depressed, you have to have gone for the span of 2 years.
Welcome back to Moments Girls Talk. The studio is full, and we are discussing depression, which is something that's very, very, very serious in Nigeria. I think it doesn't get discussed openly enough. And even though we're talking about it on the show today, I'm hoping that after viewers have watched today's episode, they'll be, prompted and willing to talk about it amongst themselves, and actually maybe talk to your friends about it. Before the break, I had said that I think one of the major problems is that we try to blame everything on people in your village,
or the
trying
devil.
to cook you, or the devil, and not everything can be taken to church. There's certain things, of course, if somebody's suffering from something, maybe they're possessed, you can take them to church. If a person is clinically depressed, that's as long as they've gone to the doctor and they've been diagnosed, they're clinically depressed. sometimes, I'm sorry, no amount of prayer is going to help that situation. It's medication, it's having somebody to talk to, so we need to learn to be open to talk to people.
Do we have that kind of culture in Nigeria?
I think it's changing. I think
it's
that
changing.
if we really, really focus on it,
I think it's changing.
Do we have, actual psychologists?
We do.
We do. I didn't
We
know
have
that.
therapists,
Yeah,
we have
before.
psychologists, we have counselors.
We have that.
And just to let people know, the good thing is that in Nigeria, because we are such a religious society, there are a lot of psychologists and therapists who are willing to incorporate God into the healing
Yes,
process.
they do that.
If you're
Yes.
a parent and you're saying, oh my gosh, I want my child to be healed by God, that's fine. We have to recognize that God is in everything. A lot of these people who, when you go to a therapist, the therapist will say, are you a Christian? Okay, fine. Let us incorporate God into your healing process. But let us not undermine the fact that you need to talk to someone and you need to pass through the emotions that you're passing through with the help of a therapist.
Okay, but this is, I do have to ask this. There are stages to these things. The people who maybe, snapped out of depression on their own, right?
If you're clinical, you can snap out. You can snap out or you need help.
Okay, so maybe we need to differentiate because I'm asking this for our viewers at home. There's someone watching you right now who just might be sad.
Yes.
How does the person know that she's not depressed?
I think Michelle has a
I was
list
about
to
to read some of the symptoms of depression according to
Okay.
helpguide.com. If you identify with several or any of the following signs and symptoms, especially the first two, and they just don't go away, you may be suffering from depression. Okay, so the first is you feel hopeless and helpless. You've lost interest in friends, activities, and things that you used to enjoy. You feel tired all the time. You sleep and your appetite has changed. You can't concentrate or find that previously easy tasks are now difficult to do. You can't control your negative thoughts, no matter how much you try. You are much more irritable, short-tempered, or aggressive than usual. You're consuming more alcohol than normal or engaging in other reckless behavior.
A lot of these symptoms are symptoms of living in Lagos. So.
I'm telling you.
You know, this is the thing. No,
We're
this is the
talking
thing.
about this
No,
on
this
a
is the
more
thing, but on a
severe
more
scale.
severe
On a more
basis.
severe
Let's
scale.
also taking her point.
Yeah,
as
she
well.
also has a point.
I get that, but let's take her point as well because it's very important that we don't have people who might be
Who
going
are
through
just
phase.
think that I'm clinically
Which
depressed.
is why it said especially the first two and that they don't go away.
For a long
For a
For
long
you to
time.
be
a year.
severely clinically depressed, you have to have gone for the span of 2 years. You have to, 2
Imagine
years.
feeling like that
this
for
for
a
2
year.
good
So does
years.
that mean that even your job is no longer interesting to you?
You don't want to do anything. You just want to sleep. You can sleep for 3 days. You don't want to eat. You don't get out of bed. You're just there. It's like you're underwater. It's like something is holding you down. You're just underwater.
And I think that keyword underwater is a very common way I've heard people describe depression. It's like there's something just over you and you can't
Are you
do
scared
anything.
that you're going to feel that way again?
No, I know. I did it. I know I would never feel that way again. I would never feel that way again.
Wow, Karen, I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank you for
Me
coming.
too.
Yeah, I mean,
I did it.
I'm seeing such a different light because a lot of young people will not come out and say that they have
Exactly.
Yes,
have
they've
been depressed because
before.
you don't take it seriously.
I actually am happy about the fact that more and more people are starting to become more open about it.
Yeah.
So not just celebrities, but people are talking
Everyday
about
people.
it. Yes.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
That's
It's
interesting.
important.
Well, coming up next is going to be time for question of the day. Welcome back to Moments Girls Talk. It is now time for our question of the day. And today on the show, we have been talking about depression, specifically about celebrities battling depression. But we understand that celebrities, whether you work on TV, entertainment, it's possible that anyone can battle depression. And our guests today, Karen and Sade, have been wonderful in sharing just insights on what they think about depression, specifically with Karen, who struggled with depression and shared her story earlier on the show. Now, the question of the day is in line with our topic, and I think it's just for us to encourage everyone or anyone at home who is battling depression. And it says, what message would you say to anyone who is battling depression?
I would say you are not alone. You are not alone. Be strong. If I could did it, so can you.
Yeah.
You have to make sure you don't isolate yourself. Reach out to people. People will help you. People helped me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
And just really quick, do you have any any references for anyone who needs to seek assistance? Is there anyone that you know that they can call? Any health centers? Or?
There is a clinic in Lekki. It's called Premier. I can't remember the exact name.
Okay.
But yeah, if they could go there, or they could go to Luth.
Okay.
There are psychologists there.
Okay.
That could help.
All right. Thanks, Karen. Anybody else want to share anything?
I mean, like she said, it's just important that you don't isolate yourself. And I honestly believe that depression, even though it is clinical, it's like any other disease, it starts from one day and then it develops. So if you see that you are getting to that point, you have to identify it when it starts, not when it gets to the really, you know. So if you see that you're in, some of these symptoms, if you see that you're stuck with a particular symptom for 3 months straight, I think that is the reason for you to speak up. So if you are completely, you just want to get out of bed for 3 months straight, and it can be triggered by anything, loss of a parent, loss of the relationship. There's so many things that can trigger it. So it doesn't have to be that, I just woke up that way. No, you could have lost someone, and then that's where it starts from. So I want us to stop to think, I'll be fine, by tomorrow I'll be okay.
I think also it's important that if you find that, your family isn't responsive or they're being a bit dismissive, try and find someone that you can talk to about it, because
online.
I think whether online or a friend, and the reason why I'm saying this is because I've met quite a few people in the last few months who have either gone through certain things, and when I mentioned church earlier, I had mentioned that specifically not because we're not all Christians and we believe in God and we believe in the power of God's healing, but because this particular person was somebody that was a devout Christian and was constantly going to church for every and anything, and it was the particular church that she went to that made it worse. So she got help through a counselor who happened to be a Christian and told her, do not put your everything into that particular church. Get the help that you need. You need to be on medication. And she's a lot better now. So she now knows, the difference. So find somebody that you can talk to. If a friend is dismissive or a family member is dismissive, go online. Like, Karen said, there's Google, search.
So many networks.
Pick up the phone. They're not going to report you. It's nothing to be ashamed of.
It's not.
Call, talk to the person and say, look, this is how I'm feeling. If you have to do it in secret at first because you're ashamed of what your friends or your family might think, please do not be. You are not alone, as Karen said.
You can reach out to me. I have my email on my Twitter, KarenYoung489@yahoo.com. KarenYoung489@yahoo.com. Yes. I'll respond to you and counsel you.
I think it's also important that we also just let people know you have to be kind for everyone who is fighting a battle. Be kind.
Definitely.
It's very important. You have to be kind. Everyone you meet, we all have personal demons. So if someone confides in you, it's not a point of reference for jokes.
Thank you.
You have to be kind.
I completely agree with you.
I agree.
Karen, Shade, thank you
It's
guys
been
so much
great
for
having
coming.
you. Thank you so much for being so open.
You're welcome.
No, we have a tradition on the show,
Go.
so we'd like to get our celebrities to share a secret.
Something that we don't know about you.
Something that no one knows
Somebody
about
that
you.
nobody
And Charlie, you
knows.
cannot talk about how your radio show is controversial because everyone knows that.
Okay, I'm going to say something that happened to me recently and no one knows, not in my closest family. I broke up with my boyfriend because of T1 and T-Bill's marriage.
Whoa.
Why?
Because I saw a lot of traits and I was like, you know what? Hell no.
I'm sorry. But wow. You go, girl.
So you just ended it like that?
Yeah.
That's
No one knows.
It takes a lot.
Like nobody knows.
It takes a bold step to do that, and guess what? Because people end up in marriages, and it's high time we are honest with ourselves as women. Did you see the signs? Yes. Don't try and style it.
Yes, don't try and style it.
And I'm not going to allow pressure because there's a lot of pressure. Because I'm over 30 and there's a lot of pressure that, you know what, you're doing so well, career-wise, it's time to get married, this is the time. After this, you won't be able to find man. I'm like, you know what, I will find. If I have to go to Finland,
thank you.
Go buy a ticket for two.
We should organize one of your travel package tours and take us.
Girl, we have to form a group and network.
Exactly, of hot, single, beautiful women.
Yes.
So,
Karen, what about you?
I don't use towels.
You don't use
No, I air
You
dry.
air dry.
Yes.
You stand there and
I just stand there and let it dry.
Seriously?
That's
Yes.
interesting.
Yes.
How long does
Yes.
that take?
It doesn't take long. You just make sure you
Heats up.
moisturize, let the water seep into the pores of your skin.
Why is there any reason why you do that?
Yeah, because it moisturizes your
Yeah,
skin.
I heard it's better.
It keeps the moisture in.
I mean, I know in England, fine, we would do that because of the weather and stuff, but not to.
Nigeria?
You'd sort of pat dry, not
I
like
don't
you.
use. I just
get
come out.
of
You just come out of your
And
wear
wear
around.
around.
I shake
You
it.
probably have to clean the floor. I'm just putting the poor floor. I
So
have
you
to
apply
know.
a lotion while your skin is like literally
Yeah,
still
literally
wet.
still wet.
Yeah,
Yes, and
that's
it
what I've
dries and
heard.
it soaks in.
Damn,
They use
Yes,
but not
actually
wet.
moisturize.
You have to have plenty
Yes.
AC
Yes.
on.
I have to try that. I have to try
Yeah,
that.
trust me, your skin looks like glass.
Oh, you'll be
It's
sweating.
already looking like that. We'll make it more glassy.
More glassy.
I'll try that.
Thank you so much, Sade and Karen, for coming.
You're
It was a
welcome.
really, really insightful episode.
Yes, it
Thank
was.
you. Coming up next is going to be time for your moment. In a nutshell, I learned that if you're struggling with depression or sadness, you should reach out to someone.